Hey there, folks. I am the Mighty Plantain, and I am too fat for this shirt, but it's got flames on it. What better way to talk about a hot, spicy beer than in a flaming shirt? So, what we've got here this week is Heat. It's a fairly new brew from Flying Dog Brewery. Now, the spicy beers have really taken off. I went down to Extreme Brew Fest in Boston, Mass. This year, and there were a lot of beers down there that had peppers and just plain old capsaicin added, so that they're up there on the Scoville scale. So it's a big thing. Sours seem to be the only thing more popular this year than spicy beers this year, like I've been more than 1 year. But in terms of general trends, it seems like it's headed that way. Sours and spicy beers. So Flying Dog's got this one here. It's an ale brewed with chipotle peppers, chicory root, and toasted American oak. So I'm looking forward to that. It should have some really interesting qualities of a barrel-aged beer. Not necessarily sitting in the barrels, but even being over the toasted American oak, it's going to get some similar characteristics, I think. So let's see how this stacks up in its general taste profile and against some other spicy beers that are out there. So this is my first time with this particular beer. So we'll be getting a first reaction off of this. So it's got a bit of a medium color. With the spicy beers, I've seen it go a couple of different ways. You've either got a really dark beer that it's anchored to, like with Rogue's Rooster Sauce. It's a sriracha beer with a stout as the basic beer. Or you've got a really light beer like Stone's Crime and Punishment or Ballast Point's Habanero Sculpin. Now those have got a really, really light beer that pairs with the heavy spiciness. So based on the color of this beer, they're going with a bit of a medium backbone. It's reminiscent, it says an ale, chicory root and toasted American oak. So it's probably going to be a medium to light ale. Not quite in the porter or stout range. So it's going to have a solid backbone, but not a really, really heavy one. And it's going to be an interesting pairing depending on how spicy they decide to go with this. Some breweries are just really trying to pump that spiciness up. Others are trying to make it really a subtle part of the flavor blend. And then there's a third school of thought that wants it to be there, but also really work well with the other characteristics of the beer so that it doesn't overpower them, but it's not so subtle that you don't taste it. So I've seen all the ends of the spectrum on this and everything in between so far. But enough stalling, that's about what it looks like I'm doing. Let's get into this beer. Now, similar to that Rogue Sriracha Stout, the Rooster Sauce that I mentioned, I'm not picking up a lot of the heat in the aroma of the beer. In contrast, the Habanero Sculpin from Ballast Point, that it's very obvious from the aroma of the beer that it is a spicy beer. This, I'm not getting any of that spiciness or heat in the aroma. Mostly what I'm getting is a little bit of smokiness and some toasted notes, not much else. And that's, again, the toasted American oak coming through in the aroma. And that's primarily what's there. They've fallen into that middle category with this beer. Up front, like I anticipated, a bit of a medium heavy mouthfeel, not the medium light that I was anticipating, I guess, but a medium heavy mouthfeel. Like I said, not quite up in the porter or stout category, but it's very solid beer with with a great malt backbone. I'm not picking up any particular notes there. The chicory is coming through. A little bit in the first taste, more so in the aftertaste. But between that first sip and the aftertaste comes a little hint of heat. It's just enough to be there, not enough to be overpowering, but it really blends well with everything else. And it's an interesting combination and interplay of tastes. Again, right up front, a lot of that toasted oak flavor, reminiscent of a barrel-aged beer with that medium heavy mouthfeel. Not a lot of hoppy bitterness in there. As a matter of fact, I'm not picking up on any hoppiness at all. But then again, that's just me. I'm sure there's some sort of hops in there. And the heat hits you in the middle of it. And then on the back end, that chicory comes through in the aftertaste. Now that I'm down this far, I'm getting a bit more of the woodiness, not necessarily a toasted oak, but just a general woody flavor following up the aftertaste. It's a very interesting and complex brew. I'm actually really liking this. I'm going to put it at 4.5 out of 5. There's no specific characteristic or anything else in the blend that's really coming forward and making me say, wow, I love that. I really like it, and I'll never turn this down. As a matter of fact, it's one I'm going to finish the 6-pack at some point, and I'll probably go back for another. And it's nothing I would ever turn down. This is a delicious, great beer. It's just lacking that something special that pushes it up to a real wow for me. Very well blended, complex interplay of the flavors is putting it in that 4.5 out of 5 category, but just not, again, I'm beating a dead horse here. I'm not quite getting up into that 5. But definitely check this beer out. Hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. Make sure to like this video, share it, and subscribe to my channel so you get a notification every time I post a new video. Check out the beer reviews playlist. It's got a lot of really great stuff. And if you're feeling adventurous, check out the regrets playlist. There's some really wacky shit there, and you might get a kick out of it. Till next time, folks. Cheers. A little while back, we did a bit of a comparison with the Not Your Father's Hard Root Beer review.
Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for the beer, man. So, highly recommended by you. The Extreme Beer Fest this weekend. We'll be able to get a hold of, I believe it's the American